Alright, I'm going to show you a little trick here for keeping the center line of the small end of the connecting rod in line parallel to the crank pin, which is where the connecting rod large end fits on. So what I got to try and do, and I've been doing this all along here, is clearance in the block for my 82 millimeter crank. So one of the quickest and easiest ways to keep this center lined is just take some elastics. I used like elastics off of broccoli or something. I got them from the grocery store because they're a little bit heavier, and I think I'm going to run another one through there too. So this is going to keep it centered while it goes through its stroke, and this way it will ensure that you don't have any clearance issues when you're rotating the crankshaft through the entire cycle of 720 degrees. So I'll just take a minute and set up this other one, and I'm just going to pull these down just a little bit, and again that'll keep it centered. And then we'll put a couple on this one, and I'm on the final assembly of this block, which is a 82 millimeter stroke and a 94 millimeter bore, giving me 2276 cc's. So it's really important, especially when you're using an OEM block, to make sure that you don't have any clearance issues, because if you buy the $1,500 scat block or MP block or whatever, then it's all clearance for you, and it's meant to take these real big stroke crankshafts. Well, this little stock AH case is not meant to have an 82 millimeter stroke. So you can see this is going to keep us pretty well right in the center of the center line. And a couple of the things that I've been looking for on here is where and how close I am with contacts. So one issue that I found when I was putting it back together was that the rod, and there's lots there, but the rod seemed to have a very close tolerance wiping by the cam pedestal on the center bearing. So, or just by the center bearing. And I'm going to show you something here, and hopefully you can see it on this side. And sorry, it's jiggly camera event time, but this is my issue, and I need to take care of this immediately, or I'm going to have failure in the engine when it comes down to rotating this thing through its cycle and stroke. So, sorry guys, but I want you to try and see this right in here. You can see that there's my connecting rod, and there is the case half that holds the center bearing. You can see on this side when I rotate it that it is really close to that. Actually, this is the cam pedestal right there, and it's incorporated into part of the bearing. So I've got to carve that back out of there. It's a very small amount. I think I measured it at about 5 thou, but the problem happens is if you end up with 5 thou of end play, which you could possibly have happen, then you run the risk of the connecting rod touching down against that, and then if that happens, then of course it just eats up your whole build. Anyways, there's a good example, just using some simple tools to do simple measurements.